Okay, you ready? All right. Hello and welcome. We are gathered here today to celebrate Abby and Steve's wedding. My name is Matt Fowler, and I am honored to be officiating. Before we get started, I'd just like to ask everybody to please silence their cell phones. Now is the time to do that. Okay, I'm going to assume you've done it. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Steve and Abby's great love story opens like all the great love stories do. In a city planning class called Land Use, Environmental Planning, and Urban Design Workshop. It was 2011 and the final semester at Cornell University for the both of them. Up until walking into that lecture hall, they had only vaguely known of each other. Luckily, fate intervened when the professor made them partners in the same group project. After working side by side and successfully presenting their work, they went out for a celebratory dinner. The two immediately hit it off. Abby couldn't stop laughing as Steve described the square crayons he was forced to use to promote creativity as a homeschooled student. During that first dinner, Steve was immediately attracted to Abby's infectious laugh, humor, and ability to listen. He also couldn't help but notice how pretty and down-to-earth she was. Abby, on the other hand, was drawn to Steve's quiet confidence, how easy he was to talk to, and his impeccable presentation skills. Abby doesn't remember the grade she got on that project. Steve said they got an A-. To the outside observer, that dinner might seem normal, but to Steve and Abby, it's their origin story. It's their beginning, their shared narrative that they'll tell forever. A couple of days later, Abby and Steve walked home from a party where they had been kicking around a soccer ball. They stood there chatting until an observer screamed at Steve, "Kiss her already!" Steve didn't. The first kiss would come later. After that kiss, they began dating. When Steve said he loved Abby that first summer after graduation, she responded, "How do you know?" Then minutes later, she told him she loved him back. Years later, when Steve proposed on a rainy day in the front of the diner they had once played hooky to go to, Abby was again unsure of what to say. After a few seconds, she yet again came to her senses and said, "Yes, of course, yes." What started as a regular group project evolved into something so much more. They took the ordinary and made it exciting. Now, not to insert myself into their story, but I'm going to anyway, I want to give some context as to why I'm standing up here about to marry two of my favorite people in the world. I've known Abby for her entire life. That's 30 years. But it goes beyond that. My brother was Abby's brother's best man. My father was Abby's dad's college roommate and best man. We were born in and grew up in the same house. Our paths are tied together, and I feel so lucky that she keeps me around. I like to say Abby had no choice but to be my best friend. So you can imagine the impossibly high standards I had for the guy she was interested in. The first time Abby mentioned her romantic feelings about Steve to me was on the phone. We were both at college. I was sitting on my dorm room floor as she described kicking that soccer ball back and forth with Steve. I remember thinking how excited she sounded, recalling that moment she shared with him. As I've watched my two friends grow, I noticed this is something they always do. Somehow Steve and Abby constantly find pleasures in the little details of life. Abby, Steve, together you've traveled to foreign countries, dressed up as Legos for Halloween, let goats stand on top of you, and even went camping in a snowstorm. And those moments are, of course, exciting. Those moments should be cherished. But you exude the same enthusiasm just sitting next to each other, discussing your day, or cooking dinner together. No matter what, you always seem so excited to be around one another. And I think that's what love is all about. Abby, for 30 years, you've been my constant. I'd say I've seen you grow into the wonderful person you are today, but to me, you've always been that wonderful person. You'll always be the same beautiful, courageous, oboe-playing best friend that I love. I couldn't have asked for a better person to grow up with. Steve, there's nobody else in this world who could have met the standards we have for Abby. And you didn't just meet those standards, you blew them away. You're genuine, kind, and there's not a better person for Abby. Over the years, you've become one of my favorite people, like literally. I don't know what it is, but when you step in a room, people instantly feel better. But now you have no choice but to be my best friend. To both of you, everyone here feels so lucky to be part of your past and present. We can't wait to see what is in store for your future together. We know whatever it is, you two will look at it with the same wide-eyed excitement that you did when you met for the first time in your urban studies class. When you had that first group project. When you saw the possibility of something extraordinary just sitting across a table. Now, everyone, look around. You might have noticed we're at the farmers market. This is one of Abby and Steve's favorite places. The urban planners in them are drawn to its vibrancy, great food, and functioning as a welcoming public space. Abby and Steve always make a point to come here when they're in town, and they are so happy to be sharing it with all of you. You, who have watched them grow up, shared in important holidays, and sat side by side with them in class or at work. Because you have supported them and know them so well, it is only fitting that you are the ones to share this moment with them. Abby and Steve wanted this ceremony to include elements of their two traditions that represent who they are together. In their lives and in this ceremony, they celebrate those aspects of each other's beliefs that are shared. So, for example, we're standing under a chuppah. I did that right? Yeah, okay. Which represents the promise of the home Abby and Steve will create together. Its four sides are open, symbolizing the importance of community and a commitment to helping support one another. The stability of their homes rests upon the foundations of friends and family who are gathered here. The roof is made of Irish linen tablecloth from Steve's grandmother and a tallis, or prayer shawl, given to Abby's father by her grandparents. Together, they signify guidance and protection from their families, and the presence in our hearts of loved ones who cannot be here with us today. Okay, now that we know where we are, I'd like to ask Alicia and Corey, close friends of Abby and Steve, to come up to the front for the signing of the ketubah. The word ketubah literally means written. This is the handwritten document which serves as a marriage contract. Abby and Steve wrote their contract together, which I will read to you. Okay, let's read this contract. Okay. Oh, it's stuck. I'll read it from this. Don't worry, I got it. Okay, so sorry. Okay. This is on the ketubah. On this joyous day, the 10th day of the month of August, in the year 2019, here in Ithaca, New York, where they first met, Abigail Samantha Rudow and Stephen Henry Albanese, surrounded by family and friends, vowed to one another. We pledge to be equal partners in marriage, to talk and to listen, to trust and to appreciate one another, and to respect and cherish each other's uniqueness. May our love provide us with the strength to be ourselves and the courage to follow our shared and individual paths. May our companionship support our mutual desire for adventure and exploration. As we share life's experiences, we vow to create an intimacy that will enable us to express our innermost thoughts and feelings, to be sensitive to each other's needs, to comfort each other through life's sorrows, to celebrate each other's joys and accomplishments, to remain active and curious, and to value our time together, free from distraction and discontent. We promise to embrace our differences and overcome life's challenges with compassion and compromise. May we build a home in which our faiths are shared, embraced, and celebrated, one filled with laughter, imagination, surprises, positivity, patience, and love. May our home be warmed by the food and drink we make together and the loved ones we share it with. All this we take upon ourselves to uphold to the best of our ability. First, I'm going to ask you to both sign the ketubah. So we're going to do this here. After you. And now, Steve and Corey, your turn. Oh, sorry, Alicia and Corey. There you go. Okay. Do I sign it too? Just anywhere? All right. Just anywhere? Oh, I see it now. Great. Cool. Awesome. All set. Everyone did it really well. Okay, now, would Steve's godfather, Uncle Mark, come up and read the prayer of St. Francis?
This is a reading from St. Francis, an Italian Catholic friar. He became associated with the patronage of animals in the natural environment and was a social activist who empathized with the persecuted and the marginalized. In this prayer, St. Francis explores some of the most important Catholic values, like faith, compassion, which I hope will guide Abby and Stephen in their future endeavors. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may not so much seek as to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born again to eternal life.
In the Jewish tradition, brides and grooms are blessed with the Sheva Brakot, or 7 wedding blessings. Abby and Steve have asked their friends and loved ones to offer their own blessings for their future together. Would Abby's college roommates please come up and give the first blessing?
So when asked to give his blessing over a marriage, Colin Firth, as Mr. Darcy in the BBC version of Pride and Prejudice, once responded, "Do you need my blessing?" But in all seriousness, relationships support many of the things we need. When people come into our lives, they also bring with them unique qualities and experiences that, while not expressly addressing any of our specific needs, afford us a lot of happiness.
For example, watching the 6-hour BBC Pride and Prejudice as college roommates every finals week was not something that necessarily filled a need for any of us individually, but the shared experience was undeniably delightful for all involved and brought us together to become the close friends that we still are today.
And as we were first getting to know Steve, we didn't need him to show up in full costume to see Harry Potter 7 Part 2 at the theater with us. But it absolutely increased our enjoyment of the event and supported our enthusiasm to have him join our lives.
Abby and Steve, may you continue to support each other's needs through the strength of your partnership. And beyond that, may your beautiful, unique selves be a constant source of joy for each other.
Would Steve's childhood friend Thomas please come up for the next blessing?
Stephen, something my siblings and I learned about you growing up is that whether we were camping at Nick's Lake, playing full contact knee hockey in a room absolutely not built for it, or even when we were attending chess and Irish dance lessons, you always had this optimistic, genuine enthusiasm about whatever it is was that we were doing. And Abby, although we've not spent our weekends learning to play chess or Irish dance, having now got to spend time with you in New York, I can say the exact same thing, whether we're going to dinner, the two of us and Lissa, or we're cramming into Treadwell on the Upper East Side because Stephen and I insist on playing ping pong. And so it really makes the two of you an absolute pleasure to spend time with. And our blessing, our wish for the two of you is that you never lose sight of that passion, joy, and excitement in yourselves so that you can always share it with each other.
And Abby's cousin Lee Tall.
Abby and Steve, many people this weekend are going to wish you well. Of course I do, but I actually hope your marriage is a little complicated. I hope you don't shy away from the adversity, from the tough conversations. I hope you lean into the moments of growth and the moments of strength. Because if you don't grow, you can never grow together. If you don't go through the ups and downs, you can't ever go through those ups and downs together. My greatest hope for both of you is that you get to experience each other at your worst so that you can understand each other at your best. Now, my mom, Vanessa, would never let me pass up a moment to do some Hebrew teaching in front of a nice crowd. So, I'm going to leave you with some Hebrew words that are 2,000 or so years old from the Shehachianu. Blessed are you, God, creator of time and space, who supported us, protected us, and brought us to this moment. Amen.
And Steve's uncle Mark.
I've seen Stephen a few times every year as he's grown up. He was always a great kid. Now he's a great man with a great woman. I'm proud of you, and I wish you both all the best. I love you.
And Abby's cousin Menorah.
This is a blessing of the four directions. North is the land of our guiding light. Here may you receive the Hasidic Jewish blessing of Devekut, the love that keeps us close to Hashem. With it, may you develop the intimacy that holds you together through everything. East is the land of the rising sun. Here may you receive the Norwegian blessing of Huga, the cozy warmth of friendship. With it, may you create safety and comfort during trying times. South is the land of expansion. Here may you receive the Hasidic blessing of a unified soul, the soul of your relationship. May the true love that you carry give birth to a beautiful soul that you share together. And there's my little soul right there making sounds. West, the land of our inner cave. Here may you receive the Tibetan Buddhist blessing of the double-edged sword, one side clarity and the other compassion. With it, may you hold steady through conflict and find harmony together. I love you both.
And Steve's friends, Andrew and Beth.
Over the last few years, we've had the chance to get to know and love you both. Through some of the best times, also some trying times, and always over many beers and a lot of laughter. Abby, you're a kind, strong soul. Stephen, you're one of the most generous and loving people we know. We adore you both.
Abby, Stephen, may you always give to each other all of the extraordinary and very genuine joy and love and really wonderful friendship that you have brought to so many of us here. We love you both.
The final blessing is the blessing over the wine. In Judaism, wine is a symbol of joy and celebration, of liberation and creation. In Christianity, wine is a symbol of the power of love, of communion with the divine, and the sharing of the faith in community. You have decided to share this cup with those who have been partners in your lives thus far, the ones who have cared for you and who have helped to make you the people that you are today, your parents. Would Nancy and Marty and Mary Ann and Dave please come up for the blessing over the wine? Shorts.
In Hebrew first, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. And in English, blessed art thou, our Lord, our God, who created the fruit of the vine.
And now is your opportunity to say a few words to each other. Steve, you want to go first? Okay.
Abby, my soulmate city planner, you are so incredibly kind, beautiful, and intelligent. So don't touch that. You have an infectious laugh and sense of humor. I love your hazel eyes, curly hair, and your voice, especially when you sing and talk about me on your podcast. You're one of the most caring and selfless people I know, yet you also manage to be an opinionated contrarian, a side of you I love and admire. You're a partner who's completely open and honest with me, one who makes me feel comfortable talking about anything. You've always been supportive of me and my evolving passions, but most importantly, you believe in the two of us, the strength of our relationship, and our future together. Abby, I promise to be your equal partner in marriage and to always stand by your side. I will listen to you, respect you, and support your dreams, whether that's running the White Plains Planning Department, being a podcast superstar, or fulfilling your lifelong aspiration of becoming a deli owner, furniture maker, or construction worker. I vow to surprise you with homemade gazpacho, ceviche, and your other favorite foods, to challenge you, to grow with you, and to be adventurous with you, traveling to new states and countries, and fulfilling our curiosity as city lovers by exploring the areas of New York we haven't yet been to. I will celebrate not only your every birthday, but your half birthdays as well. I pledge to be there for you through difficult times when you need me most. Abby, I'm so excited to spend my life with you and to build a home together, to love you each and every day and night.
Tough act to follow.
I forgot that I had told Matt a lot of this, so it might be a little repetitive. Steve, I remember like it was yesterday, our first real conversation when we stopped for dinner on our urban planning class, with our urban planning class on our way back from Ogdensburg, New York. You and I sat at the end of a long table of students and talked through dinner as if no one else was there. I was so drawn to your sense of humor, your interests, and how easy it was to talk to you, as if we had been old friends. I can picture you telling me the story of your childhood struggles of drawing with those square crayons that they gave you to promote creativity at the Waldorf School. You waved your hand in the air, holding an imaginary crayon and gritting your teeth at the frustration of having to draw anything with precision using a square crayon. I remember how much I laughed. That story and our whole conversation that night was the first time I got to witness many of your amazing qualities. Your physical comedy, of course, and your creativity and your kindness. As our relationship continued from there, the list of things that I loved about you just grew, including the big things, like how you make me feel loved every day, and the little things, your expressive face, and the little bald patch on your jaw where you'll never be able to grow beard hair. Leading up to this day, someone told me something that rang true to me, that marriage is a journey. You and I have no destination in our relationship. We have only to enjoy life's adventures together, to take on the challenges that come our way together, and to make the most of the time that we have together. So, I vow 3 things to you on our journey. I vow to practice patience and optimism in our daily lives. I vow to laugh with you, especially at your impressions, even though some of them are just a variation on your Sean Connery. Not many, but some. But most of all, I vow to be the place that you can call home, so that no matter where we are, as long as I am there, you know that you are free to be yourself, exactly who you are, and that you will feel loved every day.
Take that from you. Give this back to you. Okay. Right. Rings. These rings mark a new beginning in your journey together. They are fitting symbols of marriage because they are fashioned to have neither a beginning nor an end. They represent the enduring trust and affection that you bring and are the outward and visible symbols of your commitment to one another. Do this. Steve, as you place this ring on Abby's finger, please repeat after me. With this ring,
I
give you my promise.
I give you my promise.
From this day forward,
you
shall not walk alone.
You shall not walk alone.
May my heart be your shelter.
May my heart be your shelter.
And my arms be your home.
And my arms be your home. I didn't do it right, apparently.
Abby, as you place the ring on Steve's finger, please repeat after me. With this ring, I give you my promise.
I give you my promise.
From this day forward,
you
shall not walk alone.
shall not walk alone.
May my heart be your shelter.
May my heart be your shelter.
And my arms be your home.
And my arms be your home.
Smooth.
And with that, I now pronounce you wife and husband. To paraphrase from your origin story, kiss already. One last thing. Okay. All right. It is customary to end the wedding ceremony with the breaking of the glass. There are many different explanations for the breaking of the glass. I could go through them with you, but I'm not going to. Mostly Abby and Steve just think this ritual is fun, and that tradition is reason enough to perpetuate it. Let it signify that Steve and Abby are husband and wife, and that it is time to begin the celebration of their marriage. After Steve breaks the glass, I invite everyone to shout Mazel Tov, which means congratulations and good luck. All right. Mazel Tov!